You guys graduated to the big room.
Wow.
How much How did you never believe me?
So, Okay, this is the regular meeting of the Academy Community Center Building Committee. This is Joe Valentine, and we have members of our committee here and some people from who will be participants later. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order of business the next order of business on our agenda is the approval of the prior minutes from September 9th. Are there any, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and then are there any updates or corrections to the minutes as they've been printed? Additions? No? All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, say aye.
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 Everyone, thank you.
I'm abstaining as I wasn't there.
Okay. The next order of business are the chair's comments. I really have no comments this time. I would like to add, though, that for the future, I'd like to have not just a review of the finance subcommittee, but all subcommittee reports for the next agenda at the next meeting. So we'll have all the subcommittees being able to summarize, if they can, what they've done the previous 2 weeks. Liaison reports, Al?
Two things, the selectmen are still eagerly looking forward to the committee's findings and the results of the bidding process that's going to go on. And Joe, as I understand, we're still on the timeline for about December 1st to have that information available
Yes, we are.
for the Board of Selectmen and the public.
We'll know if there are any issues, we'll know them. They may come up in the meeting, but at this point, we are absolutely on that.
Well, the selectmen are urging you forward on that. Second thing is, there is an open seat on this committee now with Joe's resignation,
That's correct.
and the selectmen will be entertaining applicants and interviewing and filling that seat. So you should feel free, if you know somebody that might be especially qualified and suitable for this committee, please ask them to go to the town website and file an application.
And I'd also, at this point, I'd like to thank Joe Paradiso for devoting 2 years of his life to this committee. And I wish him well as he goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is from the finance subcommittee, which to review the invoice packet and any budget line item transfers.
Okay, so we have 2 invoices that I believe have been distributed. Joan and I have reviewed them, and I would like to make a motion that we approve them for payment.
Second,
Oh, I'll second.
John will second. Better.
Sorry. That's what I thought.
Me too, this is the second. Do you have any explanation? This is there's finally some, this is a larger amount than we have in some other weeks, so.
So it's a progress payment from our architects. They are now within the construction documents phase, and actually have already billed $200,000 to $400,000 for construction documents, and are now requesting $120,000 for that line item, $20,000 for procurement, and is pending. And I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, 80,000 is the current, but 120,000 will remain on construction documents. I'm looking for a column. And then some minor expense reimbursement for travel. The second invoice is from SES, and it is their first billing. 56% of design phase.
And that is the commissioning agent, just to clarify that.
Machine, okay? Any questions on this from anyone?
Apparently there's one.
There is a question.
Yes.
Does Colliers feel like 70% complete is an accurate assessment of where we are from an architecture?
Yes, based on the fact that the package is to be completed in a couple of weeks now at this point. They are beyond halfway, certainly on the package. This invoice is through the end of August, at which point they were at 70%. So yes, they're sort of ahead of the building cycle, if you will. But yeah, the documents are in very good shape, quite further along than anticipated, to be honest. And I mean, they're scrambling to get things completed, certainly. But yes, I think that is a valid billing percentage.
Anything else?
Nope.
All in favor of, we have a motion to approve? Do we have one? Yeah, we already did, right? Okay. All in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Opposed or abstained? None? Okay, thank you. Approved. Update.
Good evening, everybody. A couple things that are in process, continue to be in process. The estimating from the outside third-party estimator Keys is still ongoing. That pricing is due next week, so that is still on track. I'll have Tom speak to their estimator. I do believe they did find another estimator to assist with that. They obviously had some challenges with their previous estimator passing away, so I think they did find a
Tom's
company
walking in the
to
door.
I'm
Tom's
sorry.
walking in the door as you're speaking.
Oh, okay, so I'll let him speak to that under his update. The other main thing that is ongoing, we have the selective demolition that started on the 19th last week. That is expected to last at the latest through the 9th of October, but they are hoping to try to shorten that time frame. But that is in process. And we also had a meeting last week for the IT and security review with QAM and a couple of the town folks, and I'll speak to that on the new business because that is a separate line item there.
I do have a comment on this, but any other questions or any other comments? I do notice that at the bottom of page 1.
You're the only one that has that. so
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I haven't seen that.
That the award selected GC and doing a bid review is now, the date is now TBD. That had previously been December 2nd. That date is, those two items are key items that we have to get to the Board of Selectmen on the 2nd of December. Would you like to comment on that? John?
I'm not sure. Where are you looking at, Jim?
Line
Page
20.
one?
Line 20,
Bids received.
page 2 of 2,
Oh, page
line
2.
20 and 21.
20 and 21, product bids reviews,
TBD.
TBD. The word selected, well, your word selected is obviously going to be, sometime next year.
Right.
Correct. Okay. And Board of Selectmen's project bids review, that is to be determined as far as when that's going to be scheduled by the Board of Selectmen. So that's why those two dates are TBDs.
But the December 2nd is land use meeting, and I don't see that we've received the bids or have maybe the
bids-
bid site is small. But
The bids,
where the bids have been reviewed, and we make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
item 11 is the GC bids are due, which is November 15th. And the scope review and interviews are the following couple days to the week. And then in between that time frame and December 12th is when submit the package to the town. So within that window there, which is yet to be finalized, is when that information would be shared with the Board of Selectmen. That's your question?
That answers my question, but that was not what we had intended. Well, we intended that date that we get the information to the Board of Selectmen is a firm date, that it doesn't slide.
Okay.
And we have talked about December 2nd as being that date. But if it's not December 2nd, we should know pretty soon, but whatever it is, it's a firm date.
Right, well, the December 2nd date is referenced as the submit the package to the town. So that date is in the schedule.
It says land use meeting for December 2nd. Oh, submit package.
Well,
to the
that's
town.
also another event.
Oh, they're both there. Okay. Okay, so that right now that is still December 2nd.
Correct.
And it's not. Fine. Any other comments? John, or any questions here? No, you're at everybody's at a disadvantage. I mean, I was at a disadvantage because that print is pretty small. Okay, next item would be the QA&M update.
Great, thank you. Construction documents are ongoing, so we're moving forward. The selected demolition work started last Friday, and the abatement contractor is in there. We have not visually observed the conditions yet. They are doing their work under protective measures. So hopefully end of this week or early next week, we will be in there to do the visual observations that we have to make. So that's good. We are on schedule for our submission to the town for planning and zoning. The architectural work and the landscape architectural work has been issued to the site civil engineer. Site civil engineer is doing his coordination and prepping for submission to planning and zoning. So we're on schedule for that. There's one other thing I talked to Brian about. It was P and Z, and then he told me about the select demo work. Other than that, we're just moving forward. Documents were issued to the cost estimator. Both cost estimators, we did arrange a second cost estimator. Contracting construction management company is going to do a favor for us. Well, I'm going to pay for it, but they're fitting it into their schedule.
Who's that?
It's going to be Pack Group out of Torrington, Connecticut. I've done a number of projects with them. And they would more than likely be one of the companies ultimately that probably did on this anyways. They did the Rocky Hill Community Senior Center with us, and they did a very nice job. Anyways, they're gonna do the estimate, they have it. I am waiting on their time frame for completion. They said they were gonna get back to me within a couple days. I haven't heard yet. But they're squeezing it in. So that's where we are.
Pete, do you have anything to add on the selective demolition?
Yeah, just a couple things. They're waiting for their hygienist to come and do an approval. There's been 2 no-shows, so they're hoping to have this person come through tomorrow. I don't know what's that one time. I believe it's either a traffic issue or they got held up at another job. But they're all ready to have their first hygienic review on the progress that's occurred at the academy.
Great.
How quickly do you think you'll receive the report from
Um,
Kathleen?
The clearance testing is usually turns around pretty quickly, a day or two. And then, the reports, I don't know, usually a week max. I would think she could probably give us preliminary reports once she sees the lab test results.
So next meeting, we meet about every 2 weeks.
I think it's possible, yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
One quick question, I understand in the last meeting that the town building official said he would do the review of the plans. Is there anything preliminary that you have to do with him, or is that something that gets done after the plans are completed?
Well, we have issued a set of drawings to the town, so they have that to do an informal review. A formal review would happen at the time of building permit submission, so.
So you're still waiting back on the results of the informal review, or do you have to do a meeting or? So anything we can action item on to help make sure that.
I
it stays on
could
schedule?
push them, but they have time, it's not a critical path item at this moment, so they have it, looking at it. We can reach out in maybe a week or so and see how they're making progress on it. They have a lot of stuff going on, and with time being not a critical issue at this point, I wasn't planning on really kind of getting in their grill, for lack of a better
Yeah,
term.
no, but if that does end up becoming a problem, I think the faster we know, we can, town officials to
Okay.
help expedite things.
Nothing has led me to believe that they wouldn't be doing what they've said they'll do, so.
Thank you, Tom. The next section, the next item is public comment. We have either Austin, John, and Bill Stableford here. I'll give you first. Anybody have any comments from the people who are here?
Thank you, not for me.
No?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none. Do we have anyone who is on the line would like to make a comment at this time? Please raise your hand and we will recognize you. Okay, seeing none, we will move on. To the new business section. There was a IT security review meeting with members of the town and some and members of our hires. Update the recent meeting.
Certainly, Joe. Yes, we had a meeting on the 19th. The police captain was part of that meeting. Peter joined in as well. And Art Sickle and other gentleman from the IT department, I can't remember his name at this point, but reviewed the proposed plans. Brian from QAM went through the general intentions for the security components. The request was to provide camera coverage on the 4 corners of the building for the exterior. They also asked to have cameras present at the other entry points, the existing doorways to the facility. Obviously, there would be cameras at the new entrance point. They also asked for interior cameras to be located roughly, I believe, 3 per floor was the request. The IT consultant was a part of the meeting as well, so they will be incorporating those requests into the drawings. And there are some existing cameras that are on the building presently. They will be salvaged, and the intent is that those will be reused with the renovation scope of work. And there was also some other components in the existing boiler room space that were asked to be salvaged, so that those components would also be saved before any of the demolition renovation work begins. I'll be compiling the minutes for those, and I'll distribute those similar to the minutes that have been distributed in the past for some of these meetings along the way. And if there's any questions that come from that, we can address those at the next meeting if necessary.
Any questions for John?
Just curious, how's the boiler room tied to IT and security?
That's the existing location for one of the cabinets that presently feeds some of the cameras. That's all. That's the assumption or belief is that is where that one unit is located. So.
Is there any indication at this point that the requests made during that meeting are going to have a material effect on the budget?
The hope and the intent is that they would not be impacting it. There is some cost, very soft costs for the IT components. So the belief, at least as far as was presented at the meeting from the consultant, is that that scope of work would be able to be incorporated into the project without financial impact detrimental to what the budget is anticipated to carry for that. For that. Thanks.
So that's if I remember, I was on the meeting for most of the meeting. I remember a lot of the equipment that they're talking about, the cameras and routers, that comes out under FFE. So it doesn't impact the construction budget, but it is, that it would, because it's a step upon of FFE.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, the cameras themselves would be an FF&E item. The running of the conduit and the wiring is part of the construction cost.
But you're correct. There's a separate line item for security equipment
Yes.
in the budget.
Any other questions for John? Any other comments? Okay. The review of the updated Collier's milestone schedule.
Okay. Again, I apologize for not being able to get copies of this for everybody. I will update this and then distribute it, tomorrow electronically. So this will be something that I'll forward to Jeannie and to the building committee members. We touched on a couple of these items already. The CD documents going out to both the estimators now that they both have those. That is in process. Obviously, Tom just touched on the PAC group reviewing that, and we'll be looking at getting a confirmation as to when they will have their costs back to us. Again, the selective demolition is underway. That started on the 19th. That will continue for roughly another 2 weeks, and we'll look at getting some of the updated results of that from the hygienist. Security and IT meeting, we just touched on that. That occurred last week. We have a couple of pending meetings coming up associated with the Historic District Commission and also the ACA meetings. I'm not sure, Tom, if you have anything scheduled formally for any of those at this point?
No, those formal meetings won't happen until after we submit the planning and zoning. Planning and zoning will prefer to those groups.
Okay. Those meetings happen after P&Z,
After we submit P&Z.
but before the actual P&Z meeting.
They'll happen concurrently or potentially before.
And as we touched on also a little bit earlier, the package is scheduled to go out to the bidders on Monday, the 21st of October. So about a month away for that. Those bids are due back on the 15th of November. And December 2nd, we would have the recommendations to the Board of Selectmen for their review and commentary.
When will the committee see the results of the two estimates?
We need to get confirmation as to when Tom's estimator, the PAC group, will have their costs back to us, and then we'll look at compiling that information, and we'll get that to you as soon as we can after we have both figures back.
About what date though?
I would like to say, let's do, second week of October. If the PAC group is able to get some information back to QAM as soon as possible, that would be the last or the latest, and potentially, hopefully earlier than that, but we need to get the date from the PAC group as to when they'd be able to submit their pricing.
So do we plan on having reconciliation like you did before, or you're just taking two independent estimates and sending them our way?
No, we'll do we can send you that information in advance, but we do intend on doing the reconciliation with both of those groups as well.
There's not a lot of time between receiving those estimates and sending that to bid,
No, there's not. It is very
especially
tight.
for this group to be able to review the information we're gonna receive. I don't think there's any reason why the reconciliation can't happen partially or concurrently with the timeframe while we're out to bid. At least the information that we receive from the estimate could be information that's used in the value engineering process when bids are finally received. But as the schedule has gotten compressed towards the end here, we have to hit the December 2nd date. So it kind of is what it is. I had actually, to be honest, I had actually tried to petition Mark not to do the construction document estimate, but he feels that information would be valuable, and to some degree it might be. So let's get that information, get them reconciled, see what we learn from that process. When the bids come in, maybe we'll have information on hand that we can use to VE the process or work with the low bidder depending on where the bids come in and so forth. I mean, how are you breaking down the alternates like on the bid? Well, the alternates are a lump sum number. Right, but how many, so your initial bid, we need to stay in that 12 point, right? Yeah. Right, but you know where I'm going with this, right? Then you're gonna have alternates on top of that. Yes. Right, so we need those estimates ahead of time to kind of ensure that the scope that we're estimating is within that 12 point something for the best that we can do. We're gonna give it our best go. Right, because we don't wanna be too far one way or the other with the numbers, right? We're trying to do the best we can. Ideally.
I mean, to some degree, it feels like having PAC do an estimate is actually to our advantage. Because that effectively would be their bid, I would imagine, or is it done through a different process?
No.
Because the drawings are going to be a lot more developed between now and the biddings.
Okay, so what they're
Packages
seeing now is not
the
as
final set.
high fidelity as what they'll see.
Correct.
No, but they're pretty far, the drawings are pretty
They're
far
close.
Again, normally we would take the time between reconciliation going out to bid to make any adjustments. That's what we did in the SD phase. In the DD phase, we did reconciliation before we moved to the next phase. But we spent so much time in those phases that everything just got compressed, pushed back against the December 2nd date. So let's get the information and, hopefully it'll be valuable and we can make something out of it.
one of the, as we do get closer, one of the things that I think we need to consider as a committee is we may either want to move the meetings so that they align better with the review period and or add meetings. And or get the subcommittees to be to be involved earlier. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to hear. I didn't hear anything exactly about that. I think we can pull our
I don't
calendars.
have it
We can't pull our
here.
calendars out yet. But as we do move and get closer, we would like to have as much time for the committee to review. And that may mean moving or adding meetings in order to align ourselves with that, with the schedule that's coming out of town.
Which group is looking at the CD documents from our side?
That would be the design.
So design is subcommittee.
So you guys, you're looking at that, AJ?
Yeah, I have to look at that with Felicia.
You haven't yet, but it's
We
ready.
haven't seen it. I've done.
Correct.
And who's with you on that?
Felicia.
Felicia. And Joe was on the
Joe and I are environmental.
environmental.
I'm an alternate if someone can't make it. So I was on the first review that AJ couldn't make, so.
Thank you, Joe.
I mean, theoretically, we don't have the same people, right? Which one?
It'd be, for continuity, it would be good, but we could put an alternate in,
Yeah,
at any point.
so the CD documents are already packaged up, so you're still working.
No, we're still working on it.
When do you think they'll be done? I'm just asking.
Well, they're going out to bid October.
Around the
19th, so
21st.
Probably October 16th-ish.
Maybe a couple, I mean, I'd like to take a look at it first, so.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we also have the ability, we can issue addenda if there's material that needs to be provided, or if the subcommittee wants to look at the estimate set, we can provide the estimate set now.
But all the documents aren't in there, right? All the upfront.
We're about 90% complete, so.
I guess we can review what they have today.
When would be an opportune time to do that or appropriate time to do that? When do you have time? I guess Dave would be one of the points of that.
Well, I guess how have you been transmitting it to us?
However.
Just send a file
works
share,
for
that's
you.
everything.
If you want to set a drawing, we get a set of drawings. If you want digital
Oh, PDF
files, yeah. we'll do that.
file share
They're
PDF.
electronic. Yeah, it's easier. And that's always shared with the town.
Yeah,
They sent the package.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a review together?
sure.
It's a party. It's a good
I
time.
wouldn't call it a party. I already gotta work tomorrow.
And when would that package be available for?
Tomorrow, ideally, I mean, maybe by Friday. How about by Friday? Like, give me 2 more days.
Not Friday, how about Monday then? I ain't gonna look over the weekend.
All right, we'll issue them Monday.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna issue them Monday.
and how you do that?
We would send the Dropbox link to the committee or to you guys directly, your emails.
There's no reason not to send it to the committee for anybody that wants to look at
I think
it. We can coordinate a session to review together.
And we can just mark up PDFs and Bluebeam and send them back to you? We have comments?
Yes, we can do, so yes,
We
we
set
can
a
do all
Bluebeam
that.
session for us.
We have Bluebeam. So I'm just thinking, if I issue, as of right now, the drawings have been issued to the estimator. So it's, that set of drawings is not public information.
Right.
When I issue it to you and AJ, I don't know if that makes it public information. If I issue it to the whole committee, then it
Then
becomes
it's
public information. So.
Either way, it becomes public information if you issue it to either a subcommittee or a formal committee. It's public then.
Alright, well, either way, I'm just saying, I'll issue what we have, if it's not complete, but we will issue what you have for your review.
Is there a concern there?
No, I was just thinking about it. Oh, okay, I don't think there's a real concern. Someone else wants to get it and review it.
Would that mean that some of the, well, if it's public, then any of the GCs who are interested would be able to preview it also?
That's correct.
If it were in some way put, or I imagine it would have to be requested or put up somewhere.
It's correct, but you know what, you guys need to review it, so.
Yeah, it's kind of a separate activity.
I mean, when you go out to bid, they're gonna get a set of documents anyways.
They're
It's
gonna get a
not,
link.
there's not any proprietary information in there that will give anyone an advantage, I would say.
Fine, we'll send the set Monday. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that harder than.
Yeah.
Go through it.
And also, just one of the line items in the schedule is a page turn. So I don't know if that's something, we want to look at pursuing.
Page turn in respect to what?
With respect to like a subcommittee looking at those documents. I mean, the date we had put in tentatively was October 7th. That would be about a week after, the package is distributed on Monday. So if you want to, still look at trying to set something up that following week, we can, consider that, but that was just something that had been
So review.
to review it. It was something that had been factored into the schedule
So your blue being
for one of
just
the requests.
old school type.
I mean, page turns sometimes to me are just going through and just sharing the data, right? Kind of explaining what's happening, not so much into detail, asking a
Sure.
bunch of questions, right?
You really want to dive in, it's hours.
Anything else on the schedule?
I don't think so, unless there's any specific questions that anybody has. Again, I'll have this updated, couple minor changes or corrections, and distribute this to everybody.
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow.
And the date for when your date is, if you could record that date also, you're gonna supply the information to.
Yeah, I've got a note to add. that
Whatever date, Friday, Monday.
Monday, 30th.
Okay,
This schedule's tight. I mean, every week, there's a key element that's gotta occur.
The schedule appears tight, there's a lot going on. The municipal approvals can happen concurrently. The only critical path is getting the bid numbers before December 2nd. That's really the critical path. We can always review the documents concurrent with the bidding process. We can always make changes after the fact or make adjustments before you sign a contract with the contractor. The critical path is getting it in the hands of the contractors and getting the bid process underway so that you can vet the bids and then make a recommendation one way or another to town council.
How do you handle bidder questions? You guys have like a site or something that they submit them to? Or yours does?
They submit the questions, and those are addressed as a packaged response. Usually you try to, probably have two at the most, two responses to those addendum, but depending on how extensive the questions may be, you may have, more than one or two packages or responses to that. But yeah, they're submitted in, they're logged in, and then a response is given to each of those questions.
What's the turnaround time for that?
There's a trip that's on. RFI replies are due by November 6th. So the package goes out on the 21st. There's a site meeting on the 24th to walk the property with the prospective GCs. The RFI deadline is the 31st of October, and the RFI replies are due November 6th. So about about a week later.
It's funny, you guys call RFI something different than we do. So,
We use different terms.
we call RFIs like when you're in construction, you get information,
That's
like you
not
submit RFIs, like not during the, like usually it's bidder Q&A. Right.
Another way to determine.
Yeah.
I call them job meetings, they call them OAC meetings.
That's just a fancy term.
You guys have only been working together like
A long time.
10 years on this.
I just, you know what, I
You
just
could've-
let
You
it go.
could have figured out what the golf things were. And that's just this project. Anything, any other questions under the new business for John or Tom? What?
We may have answered this before, but the timelines for the bidders, is that a standard amount of time for them to bid a project of this size and complexity?
6 weeks is typical.
Yeah, that's usual time.
And as a comment, I think for the next meeting, it would be appropriate as we're going forward to review with the town, which would be Peter, Austin primarily, I guess, and maybe Scott, what the town has to do in preparation for this, to begin construction. Again, not just discuss here, but want to give you, ask both of you to be prepared for the next meeting, so that we can be sure that the town's in sync with the project. Okay. The project's in sync with the town. Probably the town is the upper, is the larger entity. I have nothing else. Anybody else have anything to add?
One more question.
So, like, say the upfront specs, like with information regarding the town, do you have to send that to the town for review, like to their lawyer, to make sure the language lines up with typical bidding?
We will be working with the town's procurement department on preparation of the permit.
Okay.
And then finally, any other public comment? Again, the gentleman in the room, if you're, give you priority? Nothing? Anyone who is online who would like to make a comment, you can raise your hand. I see no hands raised. Okay, like a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, aye. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. We have originally talked about